A Dutch court case with Bill Gates' name on it has slipped out of elite control. This is the biggest story of the year, and it's breaking in real time because the system can't shut it down. The legal case alleges that Bill Gates and Pfizer CEO Albert Bourla knowingly promoted mRNA products that caused what plaintiffs describe as the murder of millions during a manufactured global emergency. Then, the case exploded like an mRNA-poisoned heart. A high-level Gates whistleblower set to testify is now dead. The prosecutor driving the case was arrested mid-trial by the Dutch military and removed to a so-called re-education facility. That's not procedure, that's panic. Now the pressure point. A judge has ordered Gates and Bourla to testify. Legal analysts say that a door has opened that will force disclosure and personal criminal liability. When the phrase crimes against humanity starts circulating inside a courtroom, the endgame isn't scandal, it's life behind bars. Before we dive in, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and join the People's Voice Locals community to join our incredible community, support the channel, and gain access to exclusive and uncensored content. Welcome to what some are already calling the trial of the century. The elite are pulling out every dirty trick in the book because they know their necks are on the line. Back in October, the People's Voice broke the story, reporting that in the Netherlands a courtroom battle had ignited public outrage, with plaintiffs accusing Bill Gates of destroying millions of lives through the promotion of fraudulent mRNA vaccines during the COVID pandemic.
Bij de rechtbank Leeuwarden ligt de grote en historische taak om de feiten met betrekking tot het project COVID-19 The Great Reset, waarvan de preferente werkelijkheid onderdeel is, tot op de bodem uit te zoeken en daadwerkelijk aan waarheidsvinding te doen.
De gedaagden zijn Bill Gates, Bourla, Jansen en Van Kant, Hofstra, Van Dissel, Koopmans, Rutte, Kaag, De Jonge, Kuipers, Gommers, Hoekstra, Van Nieuwenhuizen, Siebesma en de Staat der Nederlanden.
Dutch lawyer Arno van Kessel is representing victims of Gates, and he's built a case proving that the COVID pandemic was a military-grade psyop, involving mass formation psychosis to control the narrative and influence the behaviour of the public. When retired Major General Franklin van Kappen, a senior UN insider, blew the whistle and admitted the psyop was about manipulating facts and misleading the public to accept Bill Gates and the elite's preferred reality, the case blew wide open.
Wat ik echt nog even naar voren wil brengen hierin, dat is, we zitten wel midden in een periode waar we te maken hebben met informatieoperaties, informatieoorlog.
Een informatieoperatie?
Ja, zo heet dat tegenwoordig. Dat is een activiteit van strategisch belang. Dat is het manipuleren van feiten en gebeurtenissen, zodat je een preferente werkelijkheid bij je eigen bevolking, bij je tegenstander en bij het internationale publiek neerlegt. Daar zitten we middenin.
Een preferente werkelijkheid?
Ja, dus je manipuleert feiten en gebeurtenissen zodanig dat je een preferente werkelijkheid projecteert, televised reality.
That was the moment everything changed. With international attention turning towards the case, control gave way to fear. The prosecutor pursuing the matter was arrested and removed to a secretive military facility, described by sources as a centre for re-education. And then it escalated again. An extremely high-level bioweapons expert who'd agreed to testify against Gates was found dead just weeks before taking the stand. Professor Francis Boyle had agreed to give a sealed deposition, proving that the mRNA shots were intentionally designed as depopulation weapons.
Now, there was a sixth witness, Professor Francis Boyle, who is actually expert on bioweapons, having drafted several bioweapons conventions-related laws in the US. And 3 weeks after he agreed to testify on behalf of the plaintiffs that these products and the process was deployment of bioweapons, he suddenly died. And we still don't know the cause of death. This looks very suspicious to me. I can't speculate on what happened, but I would really like to know the cause of death, and we don't know that. So that's where we are right now. This is how serious it is. These people stop at nothing.
Now, the case has reached its most dangerous phase. A judge has ordered Bill Gates and Pfizer CEO Albert Bourla to appear in court and defend themselves. An order that, according to legal observers, could expose them to criminal liability. Given the nature of the allegations, experts say that the stakes being discussed are nothing short of life behind bars. Legal analysts are stunned. The elite have never been more vulnerable. And as legal expert Leo van Arnhem explains, the only way this case disappears is if the public stops watching. People are hearing the phrase life behind bars. How does a civil case even get there?
If prosecutors establish intent, knowledge, and causation, especially under international law, you're no longer talking about civil liability, you're talking about criminal exposure.
Meaning prison.
If a court were to accept allegations of mass harm, deception, and knowing disregard for human life, the relevant statutes don't end in fines. They end in long sentences.
So this isn't symbolic?
No. If those thresholds are met, this becomes existential for the defendants.
Don't look away. Lock onto this story, share it, track it, and force it into the open. Because once you hear what's being discussed behind closed doors, what Gates and his inner circle are saying about what comes next, you realise this was never just a trial. It's a stress test for the Great Reset itself. And we need to join the Dutch people in rising up against the elite and demanding justice. We have the details after this important word from our sponsor. Today's sponsor is pillsforever.com. If you think Big Pharma have your best interests at heart, think again. The price of medicine in America has skyrocketed, and there are certain medicines Big Pharma don't want you to know about. That's why I've partnered with pillsforever.com. All of their FDA-approved medicines are the cheapest you'll find anywhere. More importantly, you can order medicines that Big Pharma don't want you to have, such as ivermectin, hydroxychloroquine, and fenbendazole. Speaking of fenbendazole, not only does it get rid of parasites that live inside your body, there have been studies that show fenbendazole can help with cancer. Listen to this bombshell interview with Mel Gibson, who says 3 of his friends who had terminal cancer were cured by the very same ivermectin and fenbendazole available at pillsforever.com.
I have 3 friends. All 3 of them had stage 4 cancer. All 3 of them don't have cancer right now at all. And they had some serious stuff going on.
And what did they take?
Jesus. They took some, what you've heard they've taken.
Ivermectin.
Fenbendazole.
Fenbendazole, yeah.
That's
yeah, I'm hearing that a lot.
They drank hydrochloride something or other.
Get 15% off using coupon code People's Voice at the checkout. Please click the link below this video to take advantage of this fantastic offer. Gates and his cronies can't be allowed to keep getting away with murder. The COVID pandemic was the tipping point. If we the people let them gain more power through the Great Reset, we can be sure they'll do even worse in the future. How do we know? Because they're already telling us about their plans. And Gates can't wipe the smirk off his face.
COVID was, for me, like a rehearsal.
There will absolutely be an outbreak of another pandemic. It may be next year.
You know, we just need to mess around. There's a lot of lipid nanoparticles, and some are very self-assembly.
We know what's next. A new wave of pandemics is going to be upon us.
I'm convinced that there will be another pandemic.
Oh, certainly we'll have one in the next 25 years. You know, there's even some pathogens out there that we're watching over right now. And so I'd probably put bioterror, which is a really awful...
We are going to see a whole new age of biological weapons. We have to grapple with that reality because that is what is coming.
I can't go into all the details, but there are man-made threats that we were prepared to deal with.
When the next pandemic comes knocking, and it will, we must be ready to answer decisively.
You know, we'll have to prepare for the next one. That, you know, I'd say is will get attention this time.
Gates is terrified of the potential fallout if a European Union court finds him guilty. And his worst fears came closer to reality this week. The judge ruled against him, ordering him to appear in person, ordering him to face accountability in person. But Gates' problems have already begun. Whistleblowers are emerging to expose the elite secrets. And with every day that passes, millions more people around the world are waking up and demanding justice.
It decreases the ability to produce white blood cells by 50% from your first vaccine.
Then 8 weeks later, which is white blood cell reproductive system. So your ability to make another generation of white blood cells is 8 weeks. That's why they set it up 8 weeks later to hit it again. So you hit the white blood cell ability while it's down. So now what you do is now they decrease the saline in the second one and they increase the harmful ingredients. So now you have a shift in the ingredients. So they decrease the saline and increase. So now there's a shift. And then what they do is that second dose attacks your ability to make white blood cells by an additional 25%. So now you only have white blood cell ability, like the ability to make white blood cells functioning at 25%. So you just wiped out 75% of your military and the ability to make that military. Then what they do is they set in the booster. The booster has 81 strands of foreign bacteria that your cells have never come across. So you don't have the antibodies to fight it, but you only have 25% of your white blood cell production to be able to fight it. So it's a losing battle. So then what starts to happen is you start to get chronic inflammation that goes to the areas that you had predisposition. So if you are someone that has gut health issues, that's your area that is going to focus on, and you're going to have inflammation in the gut health. If it's respiratory, if you have tumor or cancer, or if you have, say, endometriosis, or you have a skin condition, whatever that is, it's going to inflame that area because now the body has hit the sympathetic nervous system, which is the fight or flight, and the body is in a chronic inflammatory state with a low immunity and a low immune response. Then you get your second booster. What the second booster has is it has 8 strands of HIV. And now what that does is it completely shuts off your ability to make white blood cells. And if you Google what that disease is, it is HIV. So now we have people that are walking around with no immune system, no ability to make an immune system, 81 strands of foreign bacteria, and then also 8 strands of foreign HIV, along with all the other harmful ingredients. And then they remove all the saline from the first and second booster. Now, to make matters worse, during this process, 20 to 30% of the population is going to die every single series of this process. There's 4 series.
During a recent trip to London, England, he got a glimpse of the growing anger against him, as crowds demanded his arrest for crimes against humanity everywhere he went. It's not just the British and the Dutch rising up against Gates. It's happening all over the world. The word has got out, and everywhere that he goes, the people are there to make their voices heard. Gates can't find any peace north of the border in Canada either. The Canadian people have had enough, and they're also calling for Gates to be charged with crimes against humanity. Gates is right to fear the contagion effect of the court case against him in Europe. The people of the world understand he is a global threat to humanity and should be treated as such. This is why the elite are cracking down on free speech, seizing control of social media algorithms and building the surveillance state. And VPNs, the tools you were promised would protect you, have been compromised and infiltrated. Did you know the WEF control Proton VPN? And Israel have infiltrated and compromised PIA, NordVPN, Surfshark, and countless others. If you're using these VPNs, cancel your subscription now. You're under attack. In 2025, real protection exists. VP.net, built from scratch in 2025 to be verifiable and unbreakable. Every connection is shielded by mathematically provable cryptography. No logs, no data, nothing for the governments to seize. fast, unhackable, and just $5.55 a month for our viewers. Check them out. vp.net/TPV. They're legit. They're fighting for us. And your subscription funds the world's first open source audited privacy network, powered by people, not corporations, and beholden to nobody, not even the global elite or Israel. Join the movement at vp.net/TPV.